Hello, Illuminators. This is Jennifer Engel from Inspire and Illuminate. This is the Summer of Simplification Challenge. 90 days, take one thing in your life and try to simplify it as much as possible. Yesterday, I talked about taking your life and creating a schedule. This morning, I was listening to a podcast from Entrepreneur on Fire, and he was interviewing a woman who reminded me of a blog post that I posted several months ago, maybe a year ago. And I think it's actually a very good thing to bring up again. I'm not sure if it's necessarily a way to simplify your life per se, but it is something to think about as you're creating your schedule for yourself. So the idea is that what you do is you think about the things that are the most important to you. I tell people try to reduce that list as much as possible. Try to get it down to just 3 to 5 things that are the most important to you. So take a minute and jot down that list. Once you have that list completed, compare that to the schedule you've already made for yourself, or sit down and write a second piece of paper, jotting down a list of how you generally spend your day. You could either do it just on one day, you could do it for the week. So first, write a list of the 3 to 5 things that are most important to you. Then create a schedule or look at a schedule that you've already created, either for the day or the week. And then I want you to put those two lists side by side together. And I want you to look at them. And I want you to analyze those lists. Is what you're saying most important to you matching up with what you're currently doing in your life? And if it's not, then see if you can make some adjustments in your new schedule. So that's a tip. Again, I don't know if it's really simplifying your life per se, but it is kind of putting your life priorities and putting into action what you say your priorities are. Now, so my simplification tip that I am going to share today has to, again, do with that schedule. Yesterday I held up a paper schedule, but I actually have on my phone in my to-do list to plug in that schedule into my phone. And so what I like about that is that I can schedule it like for all summer. I could schedule certain things for all year. Or indefinitely. So that's kind of nice. And then I could also schedule in a reminder to do those things. The other thing that I really like is my family does have apples. For about a year or so, I actually tried a different phone. I tried Nokia, and it just wasn't my thing. What I like about Apple is it does simplify my life. So what it can do is it can take your calendar and it can sync it with the whole family. So if I put something in that we need to remember for our boys, my husband can also see it. If he puts something in, I can see it. And that's also another life tip. Again, I don't know how simple it is, although it is simple. So here's the second life tip. In regard to our iPhones, we have something where it syncs so that no matter who saves a picture, no matter who adds a contact, no matter who puts something in the calendar, the whole family can see it. Now, some people might like that and some people may not. I will tell you why I like that as a family and as a parent. So, one of the things that my husband and I live by is transparency within our marriage. And now we're starting to try to encourage that in our son. That you should not be saving anything on your phone. You should not be texting anyone or anything that you wouldn't be embarrassed for your son, for your mother, for your father, for your husband to be able to see. And I'll tell you why that's simplifying. Because in one aspect, it does seem like taking freedom away, but on the other aspect, it gives you a whole new freedom because you don't have to worry about what you're doing or trying to hide anything. You just live your life transparently. Now that may or may not work for everyone. That's just something that we choose to do for our family. So there, I gave you 2 tips today, and I gave you 2 life think abouts. So life think about number 1 is, what are your priorities? And do your priorities match the schedule that you have for yourself every day? Number 2, the simplifying tip is, iPhones are great because they can sync everyone's contacts and photos and calendars together. To me, the calendar is the big thing. Or even if you don't want to do that, at least maybe start considering using an electronic calendar if you don't do so already, because those reminders can pop up and keep reminding you to do it. Last but not least, somewhat of a simplification and life tip, live your life as transparently as possible. Because if you put everything out there, and if you're really careful about what you say, what you post, what you text, then you have nothing to worry about. Okay? So those are my tips for today. 90 days of simplification. We'll keep on going. Until tomorrow, may you keep looking for inspiration and spread that inspiration to everyone you find. Sorry, there might be a little mosquito out here. And until tomorrow, peace and blessings.